Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
The Crystal syntax is commonly used to create formulas in Crystal reports, as it has been accepted in every version of Crystal reports. You can only use the alternative basic syntax starting in version 8.0. However, almost any formula can be written using either syntax. When writing a formula using the Crystal syntax, the formula must return some type of value, whether it be a number value, a string value or text value, currency value, a Boolean or logical value, date value, time value, or a combined date-time value. For example, a Crystal syntax formula that returns 10% of an order amount field could be created in this fashion. You could first create the field, using the formula editor window. Make sure you have Crystal syntax selected, and let's just put in a comment that mentions what this does. Next, we'd actually create the formula. So here, let's take a reference to the order amount field, which we've already created in the report. And then just multiply that times the hand-entered value of 10%. This is what you could type into the formula editor, check it, save it and close it, and then just insert it into your report. Seems as if it's working out well. Now, if you wanted to edit that field, you could select it in the Field Explorer and simply click the Edit button in the Field Explorer toolbar. The first two lines in the formula begin with the two forward slashes, followed by a line of descriptive text, and these are comments which help clarify the purpose of the formula for other users who might view them later. They're indicated by a line that begins with two forward slashes in Crystal syntax. These lines are ignored by Crystal reports when evaluating the formula. Next, we're going to examine a formula, or create a formula, that makes use of one of over 250 functions available in Crystal reports. Currently, we're creating a report that shows the order and commission amount for all the sales for each employee. Instead of creating the employee ID and displaying that in the report, we want to create a function that shows a more descriptive string displaying the name of the employee. Let's customize the Group 1 name by right-clicking on the group header, choosing the Change Group command from the pop-up, and on the Options tab, checking Customize Group Field. Choose the Use a Formula as Group Name, and note that we can also click the X2 buttons that appear here and in other dialog boxes such as the Format Editor to also invoke the Formula Workshop window. Here we're going to create a text function, and remember, text is enclosed in either single or double quotes. And then we'll use the concatenate function, which is used to smoosh together strings of text. Next, we'll use the string function of trim, and then the field we would like to trim. Concatenate that with a literal space value. Concatenate that with another trimmed last name field. In this example, we're making use of the trim function, which is performed on text values, and what it does is it removes both the leading and trailing spaces from the text values. And note the syntax used. The function is first referenced, and then the field upon which the function is to be performed is then referenced and closed in parentheses. The field references, using the general syntax of tablename.fieldname, are always enclosed within braces within the parentheses. Also note that this function makes use of one of our most common operators, the plus sign. When used with number values, that indicates addition, but used with string or text values, it indicates concatenation, which is the combining of multiple text values into a single string value. In the previous example that calculated 10% of the order amount field, we also used another operator, the asterisk, which indicated multiplication. Also note that we needed to create a reference to a string value, and so it needed to be enclosed within single quotes in order to work. You may use either single or double quotes as desired. It's also worth mentioning that formulas which use crystal syntax aren't case sensitive. So for example, we could have referenced the word trim all in uppercase, or all lowercase, or even toggling the case if we felt like it. The only exception is when you're making a reference to a string value or a text value, such as we did way back at the beginning. String values are always displayed exactly as they're entered. So if we had not capitalized the T, for example, then it will show up as a lowercase t when referenced in the report. So once again, we would save and close this, click OK, and notice when we preview it, other than resizing the field, which we still need to do, it looks as if it's working correctly. Now the formulas which we've examined thus far have all been one-line expressions which return a single value. More complex formulas may involve the use of multiple expressions. When using crystal syntax, you must place a semicolon after each expression or element which returns a value within the formula. For example, if you'd like to declare a variable within an expression, and then use that variable later on in another expression which returns a value to the report, the two expressions must be separated by a semicolon. They do not necessarily need to be placed onto separate lines within the formula, however. But they often are for clarity's sake. So, for example, we're going to create an expression that declares a variable value. So here we use the number var function, which declares a number variable, and we're going to call it var x. And then a semicolon. And then we'll just insert another comment here. And we assign a value to the variable. In order to assign it a value, we use the colon equals symbol. And that's the assignment operator. It consists of the two symbols in sequence, the colon symbol followed by the equal sign. So after declaring the variable, which we did in the first line, we then assign the variable a value using the assignment operator, which here we just assigned it 100. So if we save and close and say just drop this into our report here, it should just show the value of 100 over and over and over again for each record. There we go. Not too useful, but you can see that formulas can consist of multiple lines.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.